Anyone interested in Lawrence St John's mystery or safari stories will find the following presentation really interesting. You'll get to know about the inspiration behind these amazing tales.
When I was 4, up until I was 8, I lived in a very, very boring house in a very boring street, in a very boring town, where nothing ever happened. And for me, I was obsessed with mystery and adventure novels. And for me, that was really hard, because I love Famous Five, I love Nancy Drew, and I loved all these really exciting things. And I was forever looking out of the window, hoping to see lights flashing in the night or people up to no good. But of course nobody ever was, and that was really not that interesting. But anyway, I was obsessed with animals, so when I was 8, my dad got a job as a farm manager, and immediately life drastically improved because I could have loads and loads of animals. And for some reason the sheep and cows on our farm was perpetually abandoning their babies. So I had loads of lambs and calves to look after. And I was obsessed with horses. And unfortunately, because I'm a writer, which means I was, well, even as a child I was a dreamer, I didn't just want any horse. I used to read books like Thunderhead and My Friend Flicker, and For the Love of a Horse, which is my favourite ever horse series. An amazing series about a girl who rescues the chestnut arrow from the circus. And I love the Black Stallion series. So because of all of these books, I didn't just want an ordinary horse, I wanted a really cool horse. I wanted the Black Arab Stallion, or I wanted the chestnut Arab, or even a thoroughbred would have been okay. Or a horse I could go to the Olympics on, because I watched a Red National Velvet and I watched International Velvet, and I thought this would be awesome if I could go to the Olympics and win a gold medal. But unfortunately, while dreams are encouraged or very much encouraged in our household, my dad was kind of really practical, and he was really busy. And one day he just announced, okay, I've managed to borrow the cattle truck for the weekend. Let's see what horses are available in the paper. And we found the pony, and he literally said on the spot, right, we're going to get this pony. And I got there, and picture of her since we've gone missing. I think it's in another bit, which I'll show you in a bit. But anyway, we got to this place, and it was really disastrous, because this pony came out, and this things are just normal ponies. If I could just had a normal pony, even that would have been alright. But anyway, this pony, his name was Charm, had been named by somebody with a sense of irony. But anyway, she was enormously fat, incredibly short, incredibly old, blind in one eye and totally blind in the other eye. But the worst thing happened. I don't know if you've had lots of embarrassing moments in your life, but I seem to have had an endless succession of really embarrassing moments in your life. In fact, I might even have one during this session, because I might have a coughing fit, which would be really embarrassing. But anyway, this was one of my all-time most embarrassing moments, because Charm got let out, lazy Charm got let out of her stable, blind, sort of feeling her way. And they said, oh, this is Charm. Would you like a test ride? So I was like, oh yeah, that would be great. So I hopped on, I was 8 years old. And I did this test ride down the field. And because I was never present in the moment, I was always daydreaming. As I rode around, I was thinking, I hadn't been riding, I'd only just learned to ride. As I rode around, I was thinking, these people are going to be thinking that I'm quite a good rider. They'll be thinking, that girl should go to the Olympics. And as I was having this daydream, I suddenly looked up and I realised we were about to hit a tree. For some inexplicable reason, in a giant empty paddock, in the middle of the paddock. It was a huge thing, it was like 3 acres. But there was a lone tree in the middle of the paddock, and she went under this lone tree. And not only that, when I look back, the most bewildering thing about the whole thing is the tree was actually on an anthill. And African anthills are almost as, half the height of this room. Like, what would have possessed her to go across this empty field and up the anthill and under the tree? I have no idea to this day. And why I didn't actually pay attention sooner and realise that that's what she was doing, I don't understand to this day either. But she went under this ant tree. I looked up, I saw the tree branch, it was too late to duck, And the only thing I could do was like fling myself backwards, which I did, but because of the slope of the anthill, which we then decided to gallop down the other side, I couldn't stay on, so I kind of rolled off and hit the ground, and it was really embarrassing. And from the moment it was really embarrassing, it became obvious that we were going to have to take away this horse just to save face. And so that's what we did. So unfortunately from that, I blame my dad for that to this day, because I think, see, I'm wearing a Mary King shirt. I think I could have been at the Olympics winning gold for Britain just the other week. And instead I got charmed and my Olympic dreams ended right there. So if you're ever buying your child a pony, think about that. Don't buy a fat, lazy, blind pony. So we, anyway, I had a lovely time on this farm because immediately I had started to have, well, funny enough, not what I thought of adventures, because I grew up in the middle of a war, so it was already, for a child, exciting, with loads of guns everywhere and people shooting at each other, and soldiers in the living room. But anyway, then we moved to this farm. We moved to a different farm when I was 11, called Rainbow's End. And what was amazing about Rainbow's End, partly it was the normal farm, we had loads of cattle and cotton and maize and different things. But everywhere we can see kind of ploughed lands, that's where all the normal bits of farm were. But everywhere where there's trees, we had our own private game reserve. And we lived, our house, this was the laser, was on the banks of the river. Those are the tobacco barns. So we lived on the banks of the river. We had a little boat. My sister and I used to go up and down the river on a boat with a goat. We had adopted a goat from the SPCA called Goat. And the goat actually loved boats, and so he would sort of stand on the front of the prow of the boat, and we'd sail up and down the river with Goat. And sort of like characters from the Owl and the Pussycat. I think people thought we were completely mad. And we couldn't really. And on the sandbank, there were 2 crocodiles lived there. And at one point we had 8 dogs, 8 horses, 6 cats, the goat. We had a pet giraffe, which I'll get onto in a minute. And we had loads of other animals. We had various kinds of pythons and various adopted creatures that we had around the house. We had a couple of warthogs. And so our house was like this insane menagerie. But my sister and I would go and swim in the river with these dogs. And we had a theory that if you could see the crocodiles on the sandbank, we wouldn't get eaten. And, now I'm just going to think, it's just astounding that I'm actually here. And it's not, because like the favourite food of crocodiles is small children and dogs. But anyway, never mind. I am actually here. That's our giraffe, Jenny. It was the most amazing giraffe. She wasn't tame enough to touch, but he could get literally from me to the front row away from her. And giraffes are, they're very sociable, and they're herd animals, like horses, and she didn't have any, friends. So she used to spend a lot of time just hanging outside our house. And it's the most amazing thing to wake up in the morning, look out the bedroom window and see a giraffe at the bottom of the garden. We had in our game reserve, that's Miss Piggy when she grew up, but we got her as an orphan with your brother who called Bacon. Farmers have quite a cruel sense of humour. They're not cruel, but anyway, it's just our sense of humour. So Miss Piggy and Bacon, and they came as little orphans. You could fit them into the palm of your hand. The thing people don't understand about pigs is, or anything from the pig family, they're so smart and they're so loving. And Mr. Piggy was very, very loving warthog. Which got a bit, difficult when she got older and she got horns and, tusks at least. But she was very, very, very cool. Although she doesn't love to smear everybody with mud. I have a Mr. Piggy story which I might tell you later. But we had, in our game reserve, we had about 60 impala antelope, and we had a couple of really awful ostriches that were always chasing us, called Cheeky and Beaky. We had a mad field beers, and actually the game reserve was sort of the haven of everything that we decided on the farm was mad, like except for mad now. We would just put in the game reserve Windsor, so I actually spent a lot of time there. And again, I had some quite hair-raising incidents. Because the one thing you find about animals, especially what rescued ones, is you think they should be grateful, but they're not always. And I was once chased around the entire game reserve by this calf. I'd lain awake nights looking after this calf that was dying, and then it grew up and went mad. And it was so ungrateful, chasing me around the game reserve, and it was really a hideous experience. And I just thought, where's the thanks? Anyway, but in our neighbourhood, our family wasn't very unusual because so many people we knew had wild animals wild animals that adopted or rescued or just keeping. So we had neighbours that had baby lions. This particular lion was rescued from his parents who had died in a fire. He was so adorable to just hold. It was just like lovely little creature. I had neighbours that had big elephants. And we had very naughty baby monkeys. We once kept a baby monkey for about 3 weeks. They used to climb over, we had a high security fence around our garden. And they used to pile over, we had a troop of monkeys that used to pile over the fence and get into our nice vegetable patch and eat all those strawberries and sort of sit there with the juice running down their chins. They were very adorable but naughty. I mean, because the thing about monkeys, they're so smart, they always give you this look. Like once I was staying at the Victoria Falls Safari Lodge, and this monkey came into the balcony. And it wanted to go in the room, and they told you, do not let them get in the room because I'll just destroy everything. And I was saying to it, don't go. And then literally, confused them, like, don't go in the room. And it was doing like a naughty kid would or something. It was literally, it was hanging from the rafters just above the door, from the thatched roof. And it put its paw in like that, and then it would take it out. Like, I can go in if I want, I can go in. It's really funny. I adore monkeys. But anyway, these monkeys, we chased them away once and they ran away so quickly they left the baby behind. And the baby was the cutest thing on earth. And we put it in my sister's old cot and we looked after. But the thing about wild animals, they all belong in the wild, and so if you can possibly get them back there,